The character Joe wakes up in a triangular room and sees a contraption that looks like an old mill machine from centuries ago. He must move a rock made of stone to fulfill a daily quota for the company he works for, called Mallard. We don't necessarily know how he was captured or how he got to the room, but we do know that he is an employee of Mallard. On the wall is a scoreboard that looks after his quota. An artificial intelligence-generated voice speaks to him about his work goals. It's an element that drives him more and more insane, as it provides no answers for him as to why he is in this room. The only real aid is a voice from a neighboring sell-through event. The man's voice is aggressive at first, but he is also trying to show some empathy towards Joe's situation, as he is in the same situation as well. What does Mallard do as a company? The mill clocks in at around an hour and 45 minutes in runtime, and at no point do we get a really clear idea of what this massive company does. What we do know is that they basically own their employees' lives. Joe buys a house through Mallard. All the money he makes working for them goes to their bills. He is the breadwinner of his household, thus leading to Mallard being able to do whatever the hell they want with him, even if it means locking him in a room with no clear way out. What happens when a quota is not fulfilled? Eventually, the worst of the worst starts to happen. If you continue to fail at moving the stone wheel, a group of guards will come in and kill you, execution style. Although we never see it visually, we hear it outside the walls of Joe's prison. People nearby are expelled from their cells and seem to be killed. However, Joe makes the mistake, at one point by overworking and largely surpassing the daily quota for the average worker. Thus, this sets the bar high for everyone else in prison and angering them because what if they can't accomplish that on a daily basis now? How does Joe escape? Eventually the time comes in the third act for Joe to make a move on escaping. Through rebellious acts of getting the prisoners to not work, the company cannot function, which angers the overlords. Eventually, this makes him a target, and his execution is planned. One day, a group of guards come in to do what needs to be done to Joe, but Joe ends up punching the lead guard to a bloody pulp, and then, in a literal flash, he wakes up. Joe wakes up in a break room of some sort and looks around to see other workers from Mallard asleep, in a chair with some high-tech gear attached to their faces. He had apparently been asleep during Mallard's resting lunch experiment, and was given a simulation to experience. He then encounters the same guard he was beating up in the simulation. He's nice and welcoming, but Joe is standoffish at first as he is trying to catch a grip on things. The guard, or in this case the HR representative, walks him up to his new office as he tells Joe he is due for a promotion. Joe is introduced to his new bland office, which oddly feels like a prison. He is then left alone, and he calls his wife to make sure she is okay and the baby they are expecting is still fine and well. Indeed, all is well. The final shot of the film has Joe looking into the camera and saying, "I'm going to burn this mother of ***** her down."